So thanks for being here. My name's Alan Cox. Welcome. Say hi to Bill Squire. He's right over there.
Hey, creepy hugs.
Mary Santora is in Midtown Manhattan.
What up?
How's it going there?
Oh boy, it's going, man. Where do I start?
I know we got a lot to get to.
We got a lot to get to, don't we?
Yeah.
My goodness. Well, Margaritaville was fun. Do we want to start there?
You know, we were in the flats last night. Gwen and a bunch of our friends came on the funny bus. It was my last funny bus last night, and afterwards we go into the flats and we're going to do some drinking. Everybody has the flats that have these pretty sweet rooftops. And according to the signs that are out in front, like sandwich board signs, and you go, well, it's a Wednesday. Yeah, but it's summertime, man. It's a Wednesday in the summertime. It was depressing.
Where they were closed, or there just wasn't
Closed,
anybody out?
like locked.
Yeah.
Sign out front.
It's
open.
a weekend spot.
Well, then you don't have the sign that says. I mean, the other bars don't even know, right? There's a sign out in front because we were going to go up to the roof and high five there, or whatever that's called, the Bumble or I forget. They have a different name for their roof. I go, we'll just go over there because the sign's out front. Now I don't see people milling around, so I'm like, that's not a good sign. But the sign out front says, it's got everyday schedule, 5 p to late.
Well,
okay, cool.
9's pretty late.
Locked. No, they weren't even open. And so we go next door to the cowboy place, and we're like, are they open? Yeah, they're open. Just go. No, they're locked, bro. Okay. We'll hang here and drink. We don't care. We're the only people in there. But I was like, holy cow.
And people can't afford those drinks every night of the week, so they don't go. I mean, people are always trying to get me to do shows and stuff over in that area on a weekday, and I won't do it
like
just
people
because I know.
Out, but the river's full of people on their boats.
Right,
so
but they're
what's
not
going on?
They're not in the bars though.
Well, they sure weren't. But then why do you have a sign in front that gives you the,
Because I think they would like to be open, but when they go, hey, we can't staff it, we're not going to get anybody in here, so we're going to shut it down.
No, I understand all that. What I'm saying is, listen, I worked in restaurants and bars and things like that, right? When you're closed,
take away the sign.
All your signage comes in with you. Yes, of course.
That's
leave
weird.
The sign
That's
out, which might have been an accident.
Your signage comes in with you.
Yeah,
it was just
weird.
really weird. Very, very weird. But we, had some drinks, had a good time. It was fun.
Yeah.
You were at the Margaritaville in Times Square.
Yes.
When last we left Mary on Tuesday, she had family in town, and they were going to be on the rooftop pool at Margaritaville, and I was very interested to hear what that crowd was comprised of up there.
So rooftop is a misnomer. This is not a rooftop. It was on the 7th floor. It was a deck. It was not a rooftop. But it
was open air, yeah?
Sure,
You're
but it was not
exposed
the
to
rooftop.
Right.
Do you get what I mean? Like, it wasn't the 32nd floor of the very top of the building.
It's like a mezzanine pool.
Yes, it'd be like a patio.
Yeah,
it was a patio pool, right?
Right.
What'd you say?
It was the roof to the 6th floor.
It was the roof to the 6th floor,
Yeah.
yes. Part 2, it's open only to people staying in the hotel, but there's 30 floors of guests.
Yep.
So there's thousands of people staying in the hotel, and they don't limit the number of people who can go in. So when we got there, it was like 4 o'clock. There's only 20 loungers. That's it. 20 places to sit. And then everything else is just people laying on the ground, just splayed out.
Was it like artificial turf, or what was it?
No, it's like that really light colored fake wood.
Okay.
I don't know what it's called.
Just like that decking, yeah.
It's like decking, but I don't know if you know anything about fake wood. It is 4,000 degrees.
Yes, right. Well, because it's like
So,
plastic.
Yeah.
It's laminate.
So hot. Like, you step on it with your bare foot for 2 seconds and your feet are burnt. Like, it was so hot. It was like 90 degrees yesterday. So it's this tiny little pool that might be 7 feet across, like 7 feet wide, and then maybe 30 feet long.
Which is what the picture looked like.
Yes,
before you
so
went.
it's very narrow, very small, and completely packed with people just standing up and drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like a small section toward the stairs of like maybe 10 kids that were all playing. And so I'm not, gonna swim in the pool. There's nowhere to be in the pool. So like I went in, I like dunked, and then I went to go like lay out on the ground because there's nowhere else to lay. And after like 3 minutes, I was like, dude, my legs and I was laying on my stomach. My legs and my stomach started to hurt because they were so hot, even laying on a towel. And I sat up and my legs were like bright red. I'm like, oh, I just burnt my leg. Like not from the sun, from the decking being so hot. And I looked at my sister. I was like, I can't, like there's nowhere to be. This is insane, you know? So I like found a chair and sat in a chair outside. And then the kids were so annoyed because they kept getting bumped into, and there's like drunk people like spilling their drinks in the pool.
Oh, this is
and
awesome.
One lady
I
like
would love to have seen this.
one lady like shoved past my niece, like started to cuss out my niece, and I'm like, chill out, bro. Like she's 12. You're a
Cuss
drunk.
out my niece.
You're a drunk woman in Margaritaville, Times Square. All right,
Yeah.
relax. It's 4:00 in the afternoon.
Tourists.
Yeah. So the kids they quit. We weren't even there 20 minutes before the kids were like, dude, this sucks.
Oh,
I don't even wanna
really?
be here. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's not
Because they're like, that's not what kids want to do in a pool.
Right,
They want to
understood.
play and splash and
Yes.
Marco Polo. And there was physically no room to do that. Like, you couldn't move. You could not outstretch your arms. Because if you outstretched your arms, you would hit two people on either
Yeah,
side
shoulder
of you.
to shoulder, yeah.
Right. So they were like, we don't want to do this. We want to go back up to the room. So they quit after 20 minutes and went back up to the room. And I stayed and, like, I wanted to be in the sun so bad. So I'm, like, trying to maneuver, like, a chair and a side table together to put my legs up. And we didn't last not even an hour at that pool. It was like there was no point
You're trying to
it.
Jenga your way poolside.
It was so disappointing.
Yeah.
Where I was like, you would think they would at least, like, limit it somehow. If you know you have such a small amount of space, then say, hey, we're at capacity. We'll let you know when it opens up. You know what I mean?
Margaritaville style. They want everybody to have a
But
party.
no one was having fun.
Right, but it's
Everybody was aggravated.
Yeah,
at
the adults
amount
are
of
mad
people.
at how many kids. The kids are mad because the adults are drunk.
And everybody's mad that they can't move.
Yeah.
And everyone's mad that the only option is sitting on a 2,000-degree ground. Like, that's the only, there's nowhere else to be.
Right.
So my favorite thing was for, like, the hour
But they
that
didn't
my
have towels
sister...
for people to sit on? I mean, you get towels.
It didn't matter. You got one towel per person. They refused to give you any more. And if you are already on the pool and you're like, oh, I didn't get a towel, they're like, sorry about your luck. Find one. We do
really?
not give out more towels. Yeah.
Huh.
So
Not a good user experience.
not a good use. A 0 out of 10. It was pretty terrible. But my sister was like, oh, it's the only outdoor pool in Times Square. I didn't do any research. She wanted to book the hotel, so I let her. But yeah, we made it. Oh, my favorite thing, that's what I was saying, is that, like, when I was just, because I'm just sitting on a chair at that point, because I'm like, whatever, I'm just going to sit in the sun for a half hour or whatever and go inside, was I angled myself toward the door and just watched the look of sheer disappointment on every single person's face who walked through that door to the pool. Because they would walk out like, we're in Times Square, it's Margaritaville. Like, half of them already had drinks in their hands. And then they would walk out and be like, what the hell is this? It did not fail every single time. The disappointment on everybody's face. I was like, here it is. Welcome to paradise.
What
guys.
what better way to capture the spirit of Margaritaville than in Times Square?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, boy.
But the pool bar, it was okay, so it's hard to describe. The second floor was the Margaritaville restaurant, okay? And then they had a separate restaurant on the same floor as the pool, which was like the pool bar and restaurant, but that was also open to the public. But the pool was not. So when you walked in, it was crowded with people eating, and there was no, like, private space of a bar for people who were at the pool.
Yeah, listen.
So you had to wait in line behind 30 tourists to get a drink from the pool bar.
I know they're just trying to license the piss out of that Margaritaville and squeeze it in wherever they can. But a spot in Times Square, I just did not understand, because the way you're describing it, it's like to fit everything they want in there, you can only go up.
Yeah.
So you're just going to stack everything on top of everything else.
Right.
Floor to floor, and, you know.
And I will give them credit here. They have an actual rooftop bar on the 31st floor. That was really cool. It had a really pretty view of the city, and, like, the lights at night were awesome. And they gave you, like, these little complimentary cocktail cards when you checked in, so you could go up and have a drink. And so that was really nice. Pool, absolutely not. That whole floor was just frustrating, and it was just... There was no management. There's no nothing. There's no people walking around. Like, there was
You're on your own.
Chaos. It was pure chaos.
Yeah.
And it's not even like you put a public pool in the middle of Times Square. It was like everybody was pissed because they're like, I paid $500 a night to stay here. And the big selling
It's that
point
much?
is, oh, dude, it is not cheap.
Wow.
Like the cheapest rooms are like $300. So if you're not in the smallest, cheapest room, you know, for more than one night, you're paying a couple $100. But they're like, your whole selling point is that you're the only place in Times Square with a pool.
Right.
And now we're here and we can't use it and we're paying all this money. You know what I mean?
It's like a
So,
giant lap pool.
it felt like nobody was having a good time, to be honest.
If I'm not having a good time, then nobody's going to have a good time.
Not even just me.
They will see to it. Yeah, anybody could have said that.
But yeah, and then, you know, I said yesterday or 2 days ago, the sister that I'm with, her and I tend to bicker. Our personalities clash sometimes. So she came back up after taking the kids back to the room, and she went to go lay down. And I was like, hey, just so you know, when I laid on the decking, like even with a towel, I feel like I burnt my shoulder my legs. And she was like, oh, yeah, I don't care. And she laid down and I was like, okay, fine, do whatever you want. 5 minutes later, she sits up. She goes, my legs hurt. Her legs are bright purple. I was like, I told you
My
that.
legs hurt. You're like,
She goes, oh, I thought you meant like the sun was hot. And I was like, okay.
Well, the sun
go.
is hot, but via the transitive property,
I got to go somewhere. I got to not be in this area.
so is that laminate decking or whatever that is. Wow, what a time.
So that was last night. Well,
So like 3 out of 10.
barely. And then we they wanted to go to the Margaritaville restaurant, which is frustrating for me because I'm like, you guys, we're in the city with the best food in the world. The last thing I want to do is eat at a Margaritaville. Like, no offense, I get it, and that's really, my sister really wanted to eat. Well, it's in the hotel, and it's got burgers and this, and the kids will eat it, and blah, blah, blah. And
It's more for the kids.
Yeah, it's more for the kids.
But they didn't have any kids' food.
Oh, well then.
Don't they have sliders or something?
No,
Like, really?
they had like shrimp dip. Everything was fried fish and
yeah,
chips. And
coconut prawns and all.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my one niece got 2 skewers of shrimp. That was her dinner. My nephew got a burger. My sister got some kind of a fried chicken sandwich. You know what I mean? And it was like, it wasn't even because it was like, oh, mozzarella sticks and chicken tenders.
Imagine you come back from New York and all of your stories about eating at Margaritaville.
Yeah, that's what I mean, too, is that, like, there are people from all over the world that, like, traveling here, people speaking French and German and not even speaking English. Oh, my God, I know we have to go to
Margaritaville! C'est bon!
I do have to tell you a story about this drunk lady in the elevator when we get
let
back.
me take a break.
Yeah.
Hey, R.I.P. Donald Sutherland. I want to talk about him a little bit more, but Donald Sutherland died, which is a real bummer, man, because he was just goddamn great in everything we ever saw him in. We'll break here. 35192 and a text. AlanCoxShow.com is where you can watch live, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show.
On our free iHeartRadio app and your favorite smart device. Just tell it to play the